We are creating a platform for those who are curious, one that tells the story from the artist's perspective, moments in time captured from the innovators who are reshaping dance, music, theater, and the visual arts. This is the Working Artist Project.
Thank you.
Man, what a cheese ball. Wow.
Clap for yourself.
What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Darrian? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. So I want to start out just talking about like the where, who, what, why, just of your story. Like, who are you and why are you here?
Chicago, yeah. I was born there, and I started doing music at an early age. I was about 4 years old.
Okay.
Suzuki classes. I was singing before I could talk, so I guess that's when it started. My parents saw something in me. They took me to like early child music classes and stuff like that. I was singing in choir at church, and then about 10 years old, I started playing saxophone.
Okay.
And yeah, I never used to practice. I was just bad. I'd be in the back cutting up with my friends, and then one day we had auditions, and I was like, man, maybe I should practice. And I practiced like 10 minutes, and then I got first chair. So then after that, I was like, well, I think I'll be cool if I practice more. So I started practicing more and just fell in love with it around high school, man. I think I checked out Kinda Blue by Miles Davis, this jazz record, and that was it. I was hooked after that, man, and had a group with some friends, 4 of which are still professional musicians. But we started a group in high school. And, went to college for music education and started really developing things in college. And by the time I got out of college, I was working in Chicago on a pretty regular basis and spent some time working. I was teaching a little bit, went to St. Louis in 2010 and was teaching and playing out there. So I made some connections out there, came back. Decided I wanted to do my master's in New York, and that's what drew me here, man. So 2013 moved to New York, and been full-time musician since, playing, teaching part-time, teaching different jazz camps, and I do Skype lessons, stuff like that, and also arranging for different people, but full-time musician.
That's what's up. You're just gonna plug your Skype joint. Skype
like
Chris at Christopher
CR
McBride
Music. Get you a Skype lesson.
So, man, you kind of famous for your motto.
Oh yeah, the art, the callback.
The callback.
It's not about the call. I tell people all the time.
Uh-huh.
It's not about the call. It's about the callback. Anybody could get the first call, and you play the book, and it goes okay, and that's it. But when people call you back, that means that you brought something special to the music that they want to hear again. So it's not about the call; it's about the callback.
And so, what do you do to ensure that call back? It seems like that can transcend music. It can just be for just about anything in life.
Well, I mean, for one, I think, having a character that's not, I wouldn't say friendly, but just somebody approachable helps. I have an approachable personality. When people call me and ask me to do stuff, I'm always, like, what are the details, blah, blah, blah. When I show up with a good attitude. A lot of times you could show up and just play some people just show up and play the book, and it's just another job. But for me, it's like, man, it's an opportunity to make music. Like, we're very fortunate that we get this opportunity. We get this chance to create something from just a sheet of paper. We get to create this palette of music for people to enjoy and to listen to and to appreciate. So I always try to approach it with the attitude. Even if I'm tired, man, I try to bring 110% to every show.
I was asking how you refined your approach to getting called back.
Oh, right.
What you went through? Did you go through any life shit?
Life, life things. I I think about the masters. I think about the people who I love. The groups that I've loved that really, I'm like, man, they were on some special stuff, man. Like Miles and like the second quintet, but I always think about the 1964 concert, man. And it's Herbie Hancock, Tony Williams, George Coleman, Ron Carter, Miles Davis. And like there were so many moments that you could tell they weren't looking at music, man. They were just creating. And so I was like, man, how do you get those moments while looking at music? And the key, the biggest thing is to try to get off the music as soon as possible. The more stuff you know and the more stuff you can just create without looking at the music, the better it is, man. Then, once you know what they're playing, then, you could create your sense of harmony. I always, if there's a chance for me to put my own stamp on something, I always try to do that as soon as possible with my harmonic concept. I think a lot of people appreciate that about me. That's one of the things that I bring just as an individual. I have a great sense of harmony, and I'm pretty sure that came from singing in those choirs when I was little. Yeah. I just have if there's something that needs harmonies, I could put it on there. But yeah, getting off the page, man. Getting off the page is vital to being able to create the most artistic music possible.
Right. So, man, I want to just switch gears for a second.
Sure.
Like, what unique challenges do you face trying to etch out your own path in New York City?
One of the challenges I think that I've had is trying to make sure that I'm not put in a jazz box. And by that I mean, I love jazz music, but I have studied many forms of music. I listen to many forms of music, not limited to hip hop, rock, gospel, house music, R&B, reggae. Those are just a couple. Classical, sometimes I think in New York people try to market you as soon as they can. So a lot of times you get marketed if you play jazz or you're out at a lot of jazz clubs. Like, you're a jazz artist. And it's like, no, I'm an artist. I'm a musician. I'm not just a jazz artist. I play jazz, but I'm a musician who plays jazz. I'm not a jazz musician because that's not all that I am, or that's not all I want to be defined by the time my career is over. So trying to make sure that I stay with my child, because I love jazz. I want to continue to get better as a musician, but also making sure that people see me in those other genres of music, and that I can get a chance to express myself through those platforms as well.
What roles did your parents play in your musical development?
My parents played a big role. I mean, I don't think we ever appreciate what our parents do for us when we're coming up. Like yeah. Taking us to, using the gas to take us to places, paying for camps, so they had a big role in my musical development. But as far as like musical genres, like my mom, I love Earth, Wind and Fire. I know that's through my mom. Like when I first remember hearing "Let's Groove Tonight" and the horns and stuff, I was like, I know that was my mom. And
right.
Like, I loved Earth, Wind and Fire. Frankie Beverly and Maze, Stevie Wonder. Like, that was definitely my mom's doing. I know every Bob Marley song ever, and I know that's from my dad. Peter Tosh, Gregory Isaacs, Black Uhuru, all these different reggae groups, Third World, that I know that's my dad's influence. So they had, like, when it comes to R&B and reggae, gospel too, with my mom, because every Sunday the gospel station be on our way to church. So like I know that was all influenced by my parents, those songs that are in my mind, that are still in my mind today.
Yeah. So like, how do you not lose your identity with so many different musical styles floating around inside of you and coming out? You know, are people not pigeonholing you as, oh, that's Chris, the alto jazz saxophonist, or that's Chris, the hip hop saxophonist, or whatever it may be?
I think in order not to get pigeonholed, you have to legitimately be a part of every scene, you know, and maybe that means making multiple stops in a night. You know, I could go and check out something going on at a club in Harlem that's got some, you know, R&B playing. Then I can go and play a jazz set. You know, this weekend I had to play, you know, I played a musical on clarinet, which required a lot of reading. I played an R&B gig, which just, you know, it required me knowing the melodies to these R&B songs. And then I played a jazz book, which required me to have, you know, to be able to read the jazz book and be able to get off the page, understand the chord changes, and understand the music and follow with the band. So it's like three different genres of music, but I was able to successfully do all of those because of all of the music knowledge that I have from those genres of music that I could apply to my plan. So when somebody hears me, if they say, "Oh, that's Chris," I guess that's a good thing, especially if I'm playing different genres and they can still go, "Oh yeah, that's Chris," because he's still playing like Chris. It's just playing R&B, or he's still playing like Chris, but he's playing, you know, he's reading a clarinet book or, you know, whatever. So like, to me, it's never a bad thing if people can identify you, as long as they don't, you know, as like you said, in order for me not to be considered a jazz saxophonist, I have to step out of that genre of jazz and get to other genres of music and make sure.